Here on the OCU Athletics Update, we're talking to Delaware Resource Group Superstar Athlete of the Week, Sara Moore. Junior cross-country runner from Omagh, Ireland, recently became the individual champion in the Senior Athletic Conference cross-country. And talk about that performance on Saturday. You're the individual champion and the team for the first time as a women's cross-country champion in the conference.
So it was my first career cross-country win since coming to OCU, and also our first team title. And I think we really worked well as a team out there. We were really focused. The girls all ran very well. We had 7 girls in the top 15, which are all conference, which is impressive, and we haven't done that before in OCU. In terms of individually, it really boosted my confidence. I've run against a lot of tough runners and very fast girls my previous years here. For example, Hannah Helker from OBU, she's actually at a professional level now. So it was very tough, and I'm excited that the girls in the race kept the race going. It was really competitive until the last 800 when I decided to use whatever kick I have, and then I claimed the title, which I'm really happy with.
The Gordon Cooper Technology Center has been the site of the conference meet traditionally. Talk about what it takes to perform well on that track.
Well, it really depends. I've ran this course about 4 times now, and each time it varies. My time's different, my position's been different. The course is fairly flat. They have one incline, which is not really of an incline, but when you're running pretty fast, it feels like a mountain kind of. The footing's kind of rough in the backfields when we go into these little fields, but overall it's a really nice course. It's definitely one I like now anyway. So.
What do you know about the site of the NAI National Meet, the McAlpine Park or McAlpine Creek Park course? What do you know about that course?
It's very fast course. Very fast times have been recorded there. It's mainly flat. There's a few inclines, but nothing serious. And you just have to get out with the first K, because if you don't, you're going to be trapped, because it bottlenecks straight into like a gravel pathway. So, but I'm very excited to run it because the past years it's been at Rimrock Farm in Lawrence, Kansas, and that's a tough cross-country course. It's very hilly and very demanding, so I'm excited to actually get out there and compete with really fast girls on a fast course.
The men's team here has won the last 2 national championships. Does that give the women's team any extra motivation going into the postseason meet?
Oh, for sure. The boys walk around with what Coach Hall calls a winning attitude, and I think that's rubbed off on us a lot this year. Like I said previously, we're really focused this year. All the girls are running really well right now. We really help each other. We really push each other, practice every day. We come to races prepared. You know, we're very focused on what we came to do. And another thing is the boys, they praise us and we praise them just a practice, which really helps. And watching them run really well, I think, shows us that we could just do as good as them.
You also became an All-American in the indoor track season last year, running the 1500 and the 1000. Talk about your performances there.
Well, I never really ran indoor at home, maybe a few races, but when I came here to OCU, Coach Hall asked me to run the 3K my freshman year, although unfortunately I got injured, so I didn't get to compete. So I was really hungry to get out there and compete for indoor this past year. And I qualified for the 800 and the 1500, or the 1K and the mile. And me and Coach decided that it would be better for me just to focus on one event, because I was strongest at the 1000 meters. And when we got to nationals, I actually finished first in the prelims, which you have to do before the final. And then in the final, I finished 4th. It was a really tough race. It was a dogfight from the beginning. And all those girls that finished in front of me are really tough girls. And I was really happy with my first All-American, because it's what I wanted. I missed out All-American in cross-country last year by 0.02 seconds. So I finished 31st in this top 30 that get All-American. So I was definitely hungry, and it was possibly one of the best experiences I've had.
What brought you here to OCU from Ireland?
I've always had a passion to run collegiately. And there's a lot of opportunities at home also, and I got opportunities from coaches. But when talking with Coach Hall, I really liked how he described the team atmosphere, OCU as a school, and he's had very good success in the past, so I really liked him as a coach. So I decided that I wanted to choose OCU. And also since I've got here, I've never really looked back. I've never regretted any decisions, and I've progressed. I started running out 1500s at like 4:50, and now I'm down to like 4:30. So it's definitely the best opportunity that I've had.
How did you develop your running ability at home in Ireland?
Well, my brother actually got me into running at a young age. He is now a very well-known coach at home, and he decided one day at my high school when I was a freshman that he said, "Oh, you should join the cross-country team." I was like, okay, sure. And when I joined it, I actually won the meet. My first ever cross-country race, I won. So my brother knew there was potential there, and he made me join our team, which he is now the head coach there, and it's a club at home called Omagh. So I ran there all my life, and I've loved it ever since. And I think when you start being successful at your sport, I think you just really want to get to that next level. So once I started winning titles at home and races at home and helping my team do well, I decided I want to bring this to the next level. So it brought me to practice every day. It made me strive for more, and I think that's what really helped me come here.
What's your major here at OCU?
I'm an early childhood education major. I started out as exercise sports science, but then I switched. No particular reason, just my interest in teaching has always been very, very high. I've loved teaching. And I think my career goals for this would be to teach preschoolers. I love preschoolers. And I would hopefully one day open up my own care center, which is one of the highest goals, I think. But for now, I just love my teachers here. I love the classes are really small for education, and we're really a family, and I just really like it.
All right, we're talking to Delaware Resource Group Superstar Athlete of the Week, Sara Moore. You can follow the Stars cross-country team on OCUsports.com.
There's a call to be answered. The spirit of competition is still alive inside. The desire still drives. The phrase student athlete has a great ring to it. Lasting friendships are ready to be made. You just want to keep playing. Game on. Learn more at naia.org.
Here on the OCU Athletics Update, we're talking to women's basketball coach Bo Overton. He's in his first season leading the Stars. And Coach, you were an assistant at the University of Oklahoma. You were a coach on the Chinese national team, professional level in China and here in the United States. What is that experience going to give you going into the OCU head coaching position?
Well, I think one of the biggest things I learned was, how to be more patient. When you're traveling all around the world and dealing with all of that, and then different cultures, you just kind of learn to slow everything down, be more patient, and I think that's going to help me as we move forward here.
You've been acquainted with OCU for several years. What drew you to this position?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that I've lived in Oklahoma literally my whole life. Grew up here. My father coached here in Oklahoma City, and I can remember sitting on the bench at Frederickson Fieldhouse, watching games, and not only OCU but watching baseball games and other sports here. So I've been acquainted with OCU my whole life, and it's really an honor to be able to be here and be a part of this great school.
You have an interesting story about how you first connected with athletic director Jim Abbott. Tell us about that.
Well, I knew Jim a little bit because I would come to games, and when I was in my off season, I would come to games, and I knew him a little bit, and I had some other people that were friends with him, but Bob Berry Jr., when this opportunity came about, called me, and really Bob is the one that got a hold of Jim to tell him that I was available and to get us in touch with each other. And it's just so crazy how then after that, it was very shortly that we lost Bob Jr. and what an amazing guy, and you know, and that kind of goes back to Oklahoma City, and you know, I've known him my whole life also from being around here, and it's just amazing how all that happened so quickly.
What influences have shaped your coaching philosophy?
Well, I think I've had a lot of great coaches that I've been around. You know, I played for Coach Tubbs at Oklahoma. You know, somebody that everybody knows here at OCU. I worked for Coach Ken Trickey at Oral Roberts for 4 years. A lot of the stuff that I do, I learned just from being around him. You know, not so much about basketball, but how to treat the players and the other people on campus. And he just got along with, you know, with everybody. And so I always saw that and watched that. And I hope that as I got going on that, you know, that I could learn a lot from people like that.
What style of play can fans expect to see from your teams?
Well, I think, you know, the biggest thing that I hope that I can do is just kind of fit with who our team is, who our players are. You know, are we a fast team? Then we need to play fast. If we're not that fast, then we need to. I hope we'll be a smart team that plays very hard, and then from there, you know, you just got to let the players play and let them make plays and just see what happens at the end.
What do you look for in a prospective student athlete?
Well, I think a lot of things changed a little bit when I came here because, you know, this is such a high academic university. And so, you know, first and foremost, you know, they got to be great students to come here. And I understand that. And so as we go recruiting and we're looking at players, that's one of the first things I ask the coach is, you know, what are they as far as academics? And it's amazing the feedback I've gotten just in the short time I've been here with just, and I knew that from living around here, but this is such a great school and has such a high reputation that, you know, when I say OCU, you know, people look up.
What inspired you to enter coaching as your career?
I honestly don't think I can do anything else. I mean, you know, I've played sports my whole life. My father coached every sport, I think. So when I was growing up, I was always around some kind of ball. And I've just been around it my whole life, watching him and, you know, and being in that kind of coaching family per se, you know, all the high school coaches in Oklahoma, high school and college, you know, I was sitting in their living rooms, you know, when I was little. And, you know, that's all I ever saw. And then, you know, and after I was through playing, it's just kind of a natural fit.
What are some of the rule changes in women's basketball that we're going to see this season?
Well, I think there's a couple of rules that people will see immediately. Number one, there's not 20-minute halves anymore. There's periods. So you're going to have a 10-minute period, and then you'll have halftime. Then we'll have another 10-minute period, and then the game will be over. So that'll kind of, you know, break the game up a little bit. I think help the players a little bit because in NAIA we don't have the media timeouts that NCAA does. So I think they'll enjoy that part of it. And what that does is at the end of quarters, you know, there's more exciting plays that happen. And then the other thing they'll notice is just like the NBA and just like the Thunder, at the end of games, we're able to call a timeout and move the ball to half court. And that will promote more exciting finishes, I think. So instead of just throwing something from full court, you know, you're able to run something good, just like the NBA does from half court. And so I think you put those two together, and I think it's going to make our games a little bit more exciting.
All right, Coach, thanks very much for talking to women's basketball coach Bo Overton. The Stars get the season underway November 7th at Langston. You can follow the Stars on OCUsports.com.